Well, I'm joined now by the Mayor of Liverpool, Joe Anderson. Thank you very much indeed for being with us on Sky News this evening. So if the government says schools can and must reopen on June the 1st, will Liverpool schools defy that?
Simply, yes. We will make sure that it's safe for our children to return to school. You know, I've listened just to the guy who heads up an academy trust, and I've listened to other people today talking about social deprivation and how it's impacting on some of those children that live in poverty in places, and we should therefore get them back to school quick. I think that's an absolute disgrace and an insult to children, whether they live in disadvantaged communities or households, because I will only allow schools to take children back in and teaching staff and ancillary staff if it's safe to do so. This has got nothing to do with disadvantage, it's got nothing to do with politics, it's got everything to do with the safety of children. As Mayor of Liverpool,
the UK government's chief pandemic modeller, Professor Graham Medley, says this. He says current understanding is that children are not playing a key role in transmitting the disease. I mean, what scientific modelling or evidence are you basing your concerns on?
OK, well, it's not based on scientific modelling, it's based on common sense. And the bottom line is I've heard scientists give different opinions and different views. These same scientists told us that care homes, there was no problem with care homes and there'd be no infection rates in care homes. This is the same government ministers who are taking advice from these scientists who tell us it's not so safe to travel on public transport, but it's safe to send your kids to school. I'm sorry, with the infection rates as high as they are in Liverpool, I think I'm better qualified, along with parents, teachers, head teachers, and the professional staff who work for me, to decide where and when it's safe to do so, to send schools.
Do you know? Sorry to interrupt. I do apologise for interrupting. Do you know how many new recorded cases were confirmed in the last 24-hour period in Liverpool?
Probably about 40. I haven't looked.
It was 11, actually, according to Public Health England. 11.
But the figures in terms of the R rate, infection rate in Liverpool is higher than it is, for instance, in London, who were like 2 weeks ahead of us. So whilst I accept that it might be all right for London and it might be all right for different places, at the moment we don't feel it's safe here in Liverpool. So whether the infection rate was 11 today or 40, you know, we get told different levels and different types of information on a daily basis, and it's about who you believe. What I'm listening to is clearly the concerns of my public health officials, the head teachers, the parents in our city. As I said, it's not about politics. This is about who can decide about the safety. I have a responsibility. We have a responsibility as the local education authority. Just let me finish this point. I have a duty to make sure that children are safe, the staff are safe, our teachers are safe in schools. And that's what we'll ensure we do. If we find that if we can get it safe, well, on the 15th, when our schools return after half term, and it's safe to do so in certain schools, then that's exactly what we'll do. We're not looking for confrontation. We're just simply saying that we feel at this juncture, at this time, it's not safe.
Yeah, I understand that. But globally, the evidence suggests children are far, far less likely to get coronavirus or to pass it on than adults. That globally... And it's not black and white. It's not black and white, but
we
that is what
that.
The evidence is suggesting. And do teachers not need to be prepared to take, even if it's a small risk, in order to get our children back to school?
No, we shouldn't take any risk. We shouldn't take any risk. And the bottom line about you saying about children are less likely to, and they'll survive the disease and all of those things. And that might be true. There's scientific evidence that argues against that. But let's just accept that that's the case. What about if those children then pass on that infection rate to elderly grandparents they might live with, or to parents that are elderly, or for shielded family members? There's a lot of things that need to be taken into consideration. And at this moment in Liverpool, the infection rate is still too high. You might talk about there only being 8 cases disclosed today. I haven't seen those figures. What I do know is that Liverpool is close to the 1% R rate. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to see a spike in infection rates here in the city. And what I'm saying very, very clearly, if it's safe to do so, and only if it's safe to do so, our children will go back to school. That's what we all want. We don't want to see disadvantaged kids or kids that aren't disadvantaged in this city. We understand the importance of education, but health and safety and their welfare trumps that.
But I wonder why, when in your region there are high rates of infection in places like Lancaster and in Barrow as well, and yet they're not saying that all schools need to be closed and won't reopen on June the 1st. They've got higher rates of infection than Liverpool.
I don't know what to say. I haven't got, I haven't heard those figures or those dates, those statistics that you've just given about other areas. What I can tell you is what I know about my neighbourhoods, my part of the country that I represent, and that's Liverpool. And what I'm saying, very, very loud and clear, is that when we're satisfied that it's safe for our children, whatever the school, it might be in one area of Liverpool and not the same in another area of Liverpool in a particular school, but when it's safe to do so, we'll allow that to happen.
How will you guarantee it's safe, though? How can you possibly ever guarantee it's safe?
Well, that's exactly the point, isn't it? We can't 100% guarantee. So
then schools won't reopen for months and months?
Well, with the greatest respect, let me finish. We can't guarantee the safety of children in normal circumstances, but this isn't normal circumstances. We know that there's an infection rate by a virus that infects by stealth. And I want to make sure that children that go into school don't infect one another, and that isn't transmitted to the home environment or to teaching staff or to ancillary staff. You're not listening to me. What I'm clearly saying is that when it's safe to do so, we will happily let children go back to school. This isn't looking for confrontation with anybody. It's simply saying that the infection rates in our city at this time, and I know better than some Whitehall official or Mandarin or scientist who tells me differently. I listen to our head teachers, we'll listen to our governors, we'll listen to our staff and the trade unions here as well, and more importantly, our parents. And if and when we feel it's safe for children to return to school, that will happen.
OK, we hear you loud and clear. Joe Anderson, Mayor of Liverpool, thank you very much.